Kwankwaso approves defection of Kano chairman, councillors to APC. Bandits led by Belaturji attack Sokoto communities, residents flee. NDLEA seizes 2.5 billion naira illicit substance in Jigawa, multiple suspects arrested. Away from Nigeria, Museveni eyes 7th term in Uganda. Longest serving leader seeks to extend reign. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. We'll begin with political matters. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has confirmed that he personally approved the defection of APC chairmen, councillors and other political office holders in Kano State, describing the move as deliberate and strategic. The NNPP leader said those who signed the defection documents did so with his full knowledge and consent, dismissing reports of coercion or internal crisis within the party. Kwankwaso explained that the development is part of early political alignment ahead of the 2027 general elections, stressing that full political engagement has not yet begun. Now, still in Kano State, speculation is mounting in the state as Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is rumored to be defecting from the new Nigeria People's Party to the All Progressives Congress APC. On Monday, January 12, 2026, security presence was visibly increased at the Kano Government House, heightening uncertainty across the state. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports from Kano, where residents and political observers are closely watching developments. Take a look.
Armored vehicles were stationed at strategic points, including the main gate and the roundabout leading to the Government House complex. Although no official statement has been issued, sources suggest Governor Yusuf is strongly considering joining the APC ahead of 2027 elections. On the streets of Kano, residents remain divided over the governor's next political move. Party loyalists, opposition supporters, and neutral voices all shared their views. There are rumors about the possible defection of His Excellency Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. Some people are saying it is with the approval of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, while others say it is not with his approval. For us, time will tell. It feels strange hearing that the governor will change to another party, especially to a party we do not support. As for us, we remain with Kwankwaso. Wherever he leads us, that is where we will go. Some APC supporters welcomed the rumored move, describing it as a step towards resolving internal party challenges. Personally, I am happy about the reported defection. I believe he is the solution to the internal problems of the party. He has shown leadership by paying pensions and entitlements to former councillors and others. Neutral voices in Kano see the defection as a matter of political survival rather than principle. Everyone is simply looking for what will favor them politically. If joining the APC will help him secure a second term, then he should take the opportunity. As for me, there is no tension in Kano, as it is all politics, and the governor can choose whatever platform he wishes. Days before the scheduled date for defection, the Kano State Commissioner for Information said calls for defection are driven by grassroots demands, with many stakeholders believing that aligning with the APC would secure Kano's political stability and development ahead of 2027.
The appointees, the elected in the state, we all have believed that this is the best political decision that what the Kano State government should actually consider or should actually take. The leadership of the NPP and the coordination of the national leader, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, to consider this request because it is a request that emanated from the people.
For now, the situation remains uncertain. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has yet to make an official statement, leaving Kano residents and political observers waiting to see whether the rumored defection will indeed take place. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, circling back to our lead story, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has confirmed that he personally approved the defection of APC chairmen, councillors, and other political office holders in Kano State, describing the move as deliberate and strategic.
Na so fara da godiya ga Allah kuma godewa duka jama'an Najeriya musamman.
We deem it fit that all chairmen and councillors and every other official who has been asked to sign should do so, and we have no objection. We know that all these are for 2027, and it is not time yet. We pray that God will allow us to witness the time. Our supporters are present, and we know them wherever they are. This decision will douse the current tension in Kano State.
A gare mu muna nuna soyayya ga dukkanin al'umma da suke wannan jiha da ma Najeriya gabaki daya.
Now, joining us via Zoom to discuss more on the Kano story is political analyst Jide Ojo. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the News Hour.
It's my pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. How
Good
would
evening.
you describe Kwankwaso's current political strategy, especially his directive to loyalists to go with the tide while keeping the Kwankwasia movement?
Well, I think he has read the mood of the state, and he knew unless he allows the will of the Kwankwasia people to prevail, in which case they will align with the party at the center, he may actually be a general without a troop. Don't forget that power resides with the people, and the leader leads on behalf of the people. Even before the current mass defection, a lot of defections have been happening within the NMPP fold. I recall a former member, I've forgotten his name now, who defected last year. I think they've also lost one of their senators to APC. So a number of defections have been happening before the current kill. And if Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso refuses to allow these people to enjoy his endorsement, then they will still do it without him. I recall over last week where the former governor, what's his name? The former governor, Shekarau, Governor Shekarau said that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso cannot hold back Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf from defecting because he also defected with the mandate of PDP when he joined APC. And so what goes round comes round, and that he cannot at this time stop the governor from exercising his political rights to align with any party of his choice.
So is this approach more about short-term political survival for his supporters or a calculated move to strengthen Kwankwasia's structure in Kano State?
It is both. It is both. Don't forget, my sister, that right now the NMPP is having some internal wranglings. There are two factions laying claim to leadership of the National Working Committee. And the Kwankwasia is a movement outside of that NMPP. Now, the governor, Abba Kabir Yusuf, may have thought it fit that if these internal wranglings, even though INEC recognizes a faction against the other, but what if the table turns and in order to secure a second-term ticket, he backed the wrong guys? That would vitiate his chances of re-election. And there is no political juggernaut worth his salt who don't want to get re-elected, particularly if the law is on his side. So what Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is trying to do is, in the short term, for his own political survival, and in the larger term, also the relevance of Kwankwasia, because I want to believe that certain negotiations must have gone behind the scene between the APC and those who want to join. How would the power sharing agreement be? Who will get what? If the APC people now backs Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, would they get some senatorial slots in return? There will be different calculations, and I believe it's also going to strengthen the hands of the Kwankwansia movement. Don't also forget that when former national chairman of APC, Ganduje Umar, Abdullah Umar Ganduje, suddenly resigned last year, the rumor mill has it that he resigned in order to pave way for the coming in of engineer Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, so that he could, the APC national could have the Kano in his kitty because of the strategic importance of Kano to 2027. More so now that ADC seems to be consolidating its hold. So it's also the survival and relevant to maintain survival and relevance of Kwankwansia movement on one hand, and also to strengthen the chances of Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf in getting the second term ticket and tenure. And so it's a win-win for both camps, both the governor's camp and the Kwankwansia movement, and even the leadership of the Kwankwansia. I know that there will be definitely negotiation about power sharing agreement, who will get, if they back Abba Kabir Yusuf for the governor, who will produce the deputy governor, who will produce the secretary to the state government, who will produce the speaker, and then how with the House of Reps, Senate, and State House of Assembly, how will it be shared? But it will also help APC a lot in terms of 2027 permutations.
So what does this mean for APC in Kano State?
There will be a lot of horse trading, like I said, a lot of negotiation, a lot of, horse trading to ensure that there is no ruckus, there is no factions in APC when this NMPP towards when they join in the coming days, because they are also coming with a lot of strength. Depending on the number of elected representatives that moves into from NNPP to APC. So what it means is that it will bring about, more so now that they are even doing membership registration, e-registration nationwide. What I will expect will happen is for the movement not to cause disaffection between the old guys and the new ones who will be coming. They will have to negotiate, they will have to do some lobbying and horse trading, but I think it will strengthen APC, Kano, and because there's actually enough for everybody to get a fair share. If you cannot get elected position, you can get appointment at the federal level, you can get contracts, you can get so much, because it's a plus when a governor joins your party, and it's never good for a ruling party at the center to have an opposition at the state level. So APC Kano, APC National stands to win in this with these defections.
Thank you very much, Jide Ojo, for joining us tonight and for sharing your insights.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Moving on to more stories, notorious bandit leader Bello Turji has launched fresh attacks on several communities in eastern Sokoto state, beginning with a raid on Tidibali village in Isa local government area on Monday night. The gunmen stormed the village in large numbers, forcing residents to flee their homes to neighboring communities for safety. A community-based security intelligence platform confirmed the attack, warning that it is part of a broader plan by Turji to take control of strategic areas in the eastern axis of Sokoto state. Security sources also said Bargaja village in the same local government area was attacked days earlier, suggesting a systematic campaign to expand the group's influence. Despite repeated assurances by authorities, communities in the area continue to suffer attacks, abductions and displacements linked to armed groups. So far, there has been no official response from the Sokoto state government or security agencies on the latest violence. Now, at least 4 people have been killed and several others missing following a night attack on Otobi Akpa community in Otupo local government area of Benue State. The attackers reportedly struck around 1 a.m. on Tuesday, firing sporadically and forcing residents to flee into nearby bushes. 4 young men were said to have been shot dead, while a pastor's wife, Menu or Gigi, reportedly died from shock after the incident. A resident, James Ode, said the gunmen arrived in large numbers and began shooting around the community's major transformer area. He added that many residents were still hiding in the bush hours after the attack. A youth leader, Egaji Ejembi, described the attack as deliberate and called for urgent intervention by security agencies. The bodies of the victims have been deposited at the Federal University of Health Sciences Teaching Hospital in Otupo. The Kebbi state government has reopened Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School Maga following the successful rescue of 24 schoolgirls abducted last November. The Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Halima Bande, announced the resumption after a security meeting with principals and school heads in Benue, Kebbi on Tuesday. Bande said confidence among parents and students has been restored through counseling and the full deployment of security personnel, paving the way for safe academic activities. She added that the government is committed to implementing all necessary measures to guarantee the safety of students and staff. According to the Commissioner, Governor Nasser Idris has directed security awareness programs for school principals and staff to prevent future incidents. Similar sessions had previously been held in Zuru, Yawuri, Jega, Bunza and Argungu, with the final session conducted in Benue, Kebbi. Bande emphasized that principals, vice principals, staff and students all have crucial roles in maintaining school security, noting that the forums aim to ensure a safe and conducive learning environment through heightened awareness. The United States Africa Command, AFRICOM, has announced the delivery of military supplies to its Nigerian partners in Abuja. A disclosure was made in a post on X on Tuesday, though no details were given on the type or quantity of equipment delivered. Photographs attached to the post show sealed military consignments being offloaded from a military aircraft. A development comes amid intensified Nigerian military operations against terrorist groups across several parts of the country. It also follows recent American missile strikes on suspected terrorist targets in parts of Sokoto state. Nigerian authorities have confirmed that the strikes were carried out with their cooperation, including the provision of intelligence to United States forces. Nigeria and the United States have maintained a long-standing security partnership focused on counter-terrorism, intelligence sharing, military training, and logistical support. This cooperation has been driven largely by Nigeria's fight against Boko Haram, the Islamic State West African province ISWAP, and other armed groups operating in ungoverned areas. As part of this partnership, the United States has provided Nigeria with military training, equipment, and logistics, including a 29 Super Tucano aircraft, which have been used in air operations against insurgent attacks. Now, the Kano State Hospitals Management Board has ordered an investigation into alleged negligence following the death of Aisha Umar at the Abubakar Imam Urology Center in Kano. The executive secretary of the board, Mansur Nagoda, directed an immediate probe into the circumstances surrounding the incident amid public concern. In a statement on Tuesday, the board's public relations officer, Samira Suleiman, said management had noted distressing reports and complaints from the deceased family, who alleged that Aisha's condition worsened while she was undergoing treatment at the facility. She said the investigation would examine all medical and administrative procedures connected to the case. The board expressed condolences to the family and assured the public that patient safety remains a top priority, stressing that quality health care would not be compromised. The family has alleged that tests and scans revealed a pair of surgical scissors was left inside her body during an operation carried out in September. Lagos State residents have welcomed the Federal Ministry of Education's announcement on reusable textbooks for primary and secondary schools. Parents say the move could reduce education costs significantly, but they urge strict compliance, particularly in private schools. The report.
To ease financial pressure on parents, the federal government has introduced a policy framework aimed at lowering education costs while improving learning outcomes nationwide. Jointly announced by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, the policy addresses concerns over rising school expenses, frequent textbook changes, and declining learning outcomes. At the heart of the initiative is the adoption of high-quality reusable textbooks designed to last 4 to 6 years. Schools will no longer bundle disposable workbooks with textbooks. This allows siblings to share materials, reducing recurring costs while promoting environmental sustainability.
That is good. We thank the government, because textbook nowadays is very cost. We thank the government for doing that. But me, I'm talking about verbal and quantitative. You know, they used to give them assignments on it, but they can't use. Is it maths and English that they can use together, or I don't know. That's what I want to ask. Book nowadays is very expensive. Like my daughter now, basic 3, she paid like 31,000 plus for textbook, all the old textbook.
For that school fees that the government too, they should find solution to school fees. They should receive the school fees. The other package or other public, the government should regulate the school fees. You understand? Then the textbook also, the government too, the school owners, all the proprietors, they should do everything to help the parents to reduce the price of the textbook.
In public school, because private school also, they have to be in one union, mostly in private school. Because you get some private school, this one is paying higher than, another one is paying lesser than. But in government school, I think the idea of using the same textbook is good, because if you get to both in private school, using the same textbook, that the siblings can also use it. But uniform, I'm against uniform, because the uniform, except if that uniform is well kept.
A good one, and I think we are progressing in this country. But the truth is that I don't think that policy will be effective unless the government will set bodies out to check those private schools, especially the private schools, to check them, they will need to go inside the schools themselves. For example, now I'm talking from experience. Some parents don't have money to buy textbook.
The ministers emphasized that future textbook updates will follow structured revision cycles to ensure meaningful content improvements. Only a limited number of textbooks per subject and grade level will be approved, aligning with international standards and improving teaching consistency.
And the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to building a capable, professional, and resilient armed forces to protect Nigeria's sovereignty and support national development. The Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, made this known at the opening of the National Symposium and Lecture Series organized to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day in Abuja. General Musa says the current administration is prioritizing troop welfare, improved training, the doctrinal reforms, and the expansion of indigenous defense production to strengthen long-term security capacity. He noted that ongoing policy and legislative reforms are revitalizing local defense industries, creating jobs and reducing reliance on foreign suppliers, while encouraging private sector participation. A defense minister also disclosed that enhanced training of special forces and stronger collaboration with regional and international partners has improved intelligence sharing and operational effectiveness against transnational threats. Also speaking, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Defense, Richard Filangwa, said Nigeria's true strength lies not just in weapons, but in unity, leadership, and shared national values. He urged participants to make practical recommendations that would further strengthen Nigeria's defense system and national cohesion. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said global climate action must go beyond environmental targets to deliver jobs, economic growth, and expanded energy access, especially for developing countries. Speaking on Tuesday at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, Tinubu told world leaders and investors that climate policies would only succeed if they are aligned with human development, social inclusion, and economic opportunity. The president said the interconnected challenges of climate change, the global economy, health, food security, and energy access must guide how governments decision and implement public policy. Tinubu stressed that Nigeria views the global energy transition as an opportunity rather than a limitation, noting that it can be leveraged to expand electricity access, drive industrial growth, and create employment.
Nigeria acknowledges its growing strategic partnership with the UAE, particularly in advancing integrated, sustainable solutions in renewable energy and clean power investments. Sustainable infrastructure and innovative financing, climate smart agriculture and food system, technology transfer, capacity building, and green innovation. We welcome deeper engagement with UAE, sovereign investors, development partners, and private sector leaders to accelerate flagship projects that reflects all system goals.
Now, residents of Makoko, a densely populated waterfront community along the 3rd Mainland Bridge in Lagos, on Tuesday, protested the demolition of their homes, accusing the Lagos state government of exceeding an agreed demolition boundary. The residents say the exercise, which began about 3 weeks ago, was intended to clear a 30-meter setback from a high-tension power line, but has extended far beyond that limit without prior notice, compensation, or resettlement plans. Protesters under the banner of the Makoko Community Development Association blocked parts of the waterfront and prevented bulldozers from entering the community. A community leader said dozens of wooden houses, many built on stilts, over the lagoon had already been demolished, leaving families displaced. The protest followed a January 9th joint statement by the Nigerian Slum Informal Settlement Federation, Justice and Empowerment Initiatives, and other civil society groups, accusing the government of carrying out mass forced evictions in Makoko, Oko Agbon, and Shogunro waterfront communities.
And leave us alone. We don't go give us that reason. When we do you, what we do you, you must leave us all. You must leave us all.
A federal high court in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, has sacked Wole Oluyede as the gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party and ordered a rerun of the party's primary election. In his ruling, Justice Bas Kwewumi upheld concerns raised by Prince Funsho Ayeni, who challenged the process, citing manipulation of the approved delegate list on the day of the election. The court found that his action undermined transparency, internal democracy, and fairness. The judgment further held that the gross abuse of process, disregard for electoral guidelines, and violations of PDP's fundamental principles were inconsistent with both party rules and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Reacting to the ruling, PDP's Southwest Zonal Publicity Secretary, Sonia Atofarati, said the party intends to appeal the judgment, expressing confidence in its legal team. He described the court's challenge as a conspiracy against the party and his flag bearer, asserting that the primary election was free and fair, as confirmed by the Independent National Electoral Commission officials who monitored the exercise. This is News Hour on Trust TV, coming up after the break. NDLEA seizes 2.5 billion naira illicit substances in Jigawa, multiple suspects arrested. This and many more when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. In case you're just joining, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. We told you that Kwankwaso approves defection of Kano chairman councillors to APC. And bandits led by Bello Turji attack Sokoto communities, residents flee. Moving on to more stories, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Jigawa State Command, has recorded major breakthroughs in the fight against drug abuse and trafficking. The command says it intercepted illicit drugs worth more than 2.5 billion naira and arrested over 538,000 suspects during the year under review. Trust TV's correspondent Ali Rabiu Ali completes the report.
The fight against drug abuse and trafficking in Jigawa State appears to be yielding results as the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency unveils a massive haul of seized illicit substances. The exhibition held in Duse showcases various drugs intercepted across state as part of the NDLEA's 2025 operational review.
We are witnessing the successes, the records of efforts put in place by NDLEA Jigawa State Command in their 2025, which culminated in the arrest of suspects and the seizure of the drug exhibit you are seeing behind us here.
According to the command, over 538,000 suspects were arrested, while illicit drugs with an estimated threat of value 2.5 billion naira were intercepted. The seized substances, weighing more than 947,000 kilograms, include cannabis, tramadol, diazepam, pregabalin tablets, pentazocine injections, rubber solution, and embalming chemicals such as formalin.
These drugs are dangerous substances. We have a whole lot of drugs here. It's an assorted figure. We have cannabis sativa, which is popularly called wiwi. We have tramadol tablets, 225, 200, 125. We also have pregabalin. We have diazepam tablets. We have so many of them.
On prosecution, the NDLEA says 136 suspects have been convicted, while 115 cases are currently pending before court across the state. Beyond enforcement, the agency has also focused on rehabilitation, with over 500 drug users undergoing counseling and treatment. Preventive efforts have also been intensified, reaching nearly 400,000 residents through sensitization programs in schools, communities, and media platforms. The NDLEA has commended the Jigawa state government, traditional rulers, the judiciary, security agencies, and the media for their support as it pledged to intensify the fight against drug abuse and traffic in the state. From Jigawa, Ali Rabiu Ali, Trust TV News.
In other news, Nigeria and Turkey have intensified discussions to ease visa processes and enhance business mobility, signaling renewed commitment to strengthening bilateral trade and investment. A development follows a high-level meeting between Nigeria's Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, and the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Mehmet Poroy. Both parties explored measures to remove barriers to legitimate travel and commercial engagement. Tunji-Ojo highlighted the country's long-standing historical and cultural ties, reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to efficient, transparent, and mutually beneficial international cooperation. Ambassador Poroy noted recent improvements in visa facilitation for Nigerian business people traveling to Turkey, with visas now processed locally in 3 to 4 working days. He also raised concerns about challenges for Turkish investors seeking visas to Nigeria, urging inclusion of Turkey in Nigeria's e-visa system to reduce travel and logistical burdens. The meeting further clarified that all Nigerian marriage certificates are constitutionally valid and should not face extra verification abroad. Both sides agreed to maintain ongoing engagement to improve mobility, strengthen diplomatic ties, and unlock new economic opportunities for business and citizens in both countries. Now, parents of protesters in Ekpoma, Edo State, took to the streets demanding the release of their children who were arrested during a demonstration against kidnapping and insecurity in the area. The protest, which began peacefully, later turned violent, resulting in the arrest of over 50 individuals, including students of Ambrose Ali University. The arrested protesters have been remanded at the Ubiaja Correctional Center, with their case adjourned to February 26, 2026. The Edo State government condemned the violence, assuring residents that adequate security measures are being implemented to restore peace. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has called for the immediate and unconditional release of the students, emphasizing that peaceful protest is a constitutional right. Now, on a sad note, a fire gutted part of the high-level market in Makoko, Benue State late Tuesday, causing extensive damage to goods. Shop owners are now trying to salvage what remains of their stock. Trust TV correspondent completes the report.
Barely a week after a devastating fire at the mobile police force facility in Makoko, tragedy struck again as part of the high-level market was razed, leaving shop owners devastated. According to eyewitnesses, the fire began at a beverage and confectionery store and quickly spread to other shops, including those selling electrical appliances. The market union chairman and sources close to the store owner confirmed the fire started about 10 p.m., with the fire service arriving an hour later to contain the blaze. The cause of the fire remains unknown, though suspicions point to a possible electrical surge.
The point I will reach the flame was too much for anybody to know. Hopefully, the fire service came through at least. The time they came, it was already bad, but at least it kind of slowed down some things. Kind of slowed down the flame for it to move across the other shops.
It's like the whole everything is destroyed in his shop. To me, I'm just feeling for him because right now, millions of goods are in there that were destroyed. So I'm appealing to the government to please help him out so that I'll be able to cover up what he has lost, to at least provide maybe security means and or to bring fire service close to the market in case there's any fire outbreak.
Several shops were affected in the fire inferno which lasted for over an hour, leaving traders counting losses and hoping for government assistance.
In other news, the Jigawa state government has disbursed over 12.6 billion naira in pensions and gratuities to more than 5,000 retirees across the state. A latest payment of 1.5 billion naira was flagged off in Dutse, reaffirming the government's commitment to the welfare of retired civil servants. Trust TV's Ali Rabiu Ali completes the report.
Hundreds of jubilants retirees gathered at the Jigawa State Pension House in Dutse at the State and Local Government Contributory Pension Scheme Board commenced another round of disbursements. The exercise saw 1.5 billion naira paid to 592 retirees, covering retirement benefits, death benefit, and outstanding pension balances.
Today is another very important day for us, where we will go to witness the payment of retirees who exited from service either through retirement or deaths. Almost 592 beneficiaries will receive their entitlements today.
Upon assuming office in May 2023, the governor constituted a committee to reform the contributory pension scheme, ensuring transparency and timely payments. Today, we are disbursing 1.51 billion naira to 592 retirees from the state government, local government, and local education authorities. The payment covers retirement benefits, death benefits, and outstanding pension balances. A breakdown of the figures shows 188 state government retirees received over 562 million naira. 154 local government retirees received about 380 million naira. 114 retirees from local education authority received over 283 million naira. The board also paid death benefits to families of deceased workers, underscoring the government's commitment to social security.
Okay, my name is Ismail Umar Ibrahim. I am from Ministry of Education, Science and Technology.
Which year have you retired?
I have retired on 2024. 2024. Therefore, I thank Allah, Almighty Allah. Though these are gratuity which was given us to our people, we are trying to maintain it, to know what we are doing with it. We don't extravagance with our means.
With continuous fund releases and reforms, Jigawa State is positioning itself as a leading state in pension administration, restoring confidence and dignity to life after service. From Jigawa, Ali Rabiu Ali, Trust TV News.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. More news after the
break, a part of your daily routine, and ensure you stay informed with developments around the world. We delve into the stories that resonate with you. Our seasoned experts bring you the latest news updates, insightful analysis, and in-depth discussions, with our commitment to delivering quality content that informs, educates, and connects.
Prior to now, Nigeria had been a very key player in international relations.
That same truck is expected to fly 10 kilometers to go and extinguish fire.
This fiscal indiscipline, that is the major burden of our problems in this country.
Where pensioners are treated like kings and queens. So why would you want to humiliate them when they are now most vulnerable?
Tune into Daybreak on Trust TV every weekday, where every morning begins with a purpose.
Many thanks for staying with us. In case you just joined in, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Now in business, Nigeria's liquefied natural gas exports to China are expected to decline this year as China sharply boosts its own domestic gas production. China, one of the world's biggest LNG importers, has traditionally been a major market for Nigerian gas. But new data shows the Asian giant is now producing more of its own natural gas, reducing its reliance on imports. Less than a decade ago, China struggled to develop its shale gas reserves. However, its state-owned energy companies are now recording major breakthroughs, especially in the basins. Energy analytics firm Kepler reports that China produced over 22 billion cubic meters of gas in November alone, a significant increase driven by faster than expected shale gas output. China's total gas production is projected to rise further this year, a development that could court demand for imported LNG, including supplies from Nigeria. The shift is expected to affect Nigeria's gas export earnings and force a review of long-term LNG demand forecasts. Away from Nigeria, Uganda's opposition leader, Bobi Wine, has warned that he will call for mass protests if President Yoweri Museveni rigs this week's presidential election, as more than 20 million Ugandans prepare to vote on Thursday. Museveni, 81, is seeking to extend his nearly 4 decades in power and is widely expected to win, backed by firm control of state institutions and security forces. His main challenger is Wine, 43, a singer-turned politician contesting for the presidency for the second time after his 2021 campaign was marred by violence, repression, and allegations of fraud. Wine said the opposition is enjoying strong popular support, but questioned whether power would be peacefully transferred. He accused President Museveni of clinging to power through force rather than democratic choice. Now, the United Nations has called for a swift and independent investigation into a fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. UN human rights officials expressed deep concern over the use of lethal force and urged authorities to take steps to de-escalate tensions and avoid further violence amid nationwide protests. The incident, which occurred last week, has ignited widespread public anger over federal immigration enforcement tactics. It's now time for sport updates with Kabir Lawal.
President of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, Ibrahim Gusau, has expressed strong confidence that Super Eagles go on to win 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON following their 2-0 victory over Algeria in the quarterfinals. The win has set up a semi-final clash against tournament host Morocco, scheduled for Wednesday in Casablanca. Speaking in Morocco, Gusau said he is convinced that the Eagles have the focus, unity and determination required to overcome the Atlas Lions and lift the continental title. According to the NFF president, the team's steady improvement since arriving for the tournament 3 weeks ago has been evident, particularly in their cohesion and commitment. Gusau drew parallels with the Nigerian 12 at the 2025 Women's African Cup of Nations, where the Super Falcons defeated Morocco in the final despite trailing 2-0 and facing intense pressure from the home crowd. He also praised the federal government through the National Sports Commission (NSC) for its support and encouragement of the team, noting that both players and coaching staff have assured Nigerians of their readiness to give everything on the pitch. With the Super Eagles now among the final contenders, the NFF is also eyeing a significant financial boost. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced a prize money of $7 million for the AFCON champions. At the current exchange rate, the amount is valued at approximately 9.98 billion naira, close to 10 billion naira, representing a major windfall for Nigerian football should the Super Eagles lift the trophy. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And that's a wrap on News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Good night.